Now, we could have also written this song as flats. We chose to write the song all in sharps, right? But we very easily could have, instead of writing C sharp, we could have wrote this as a D flat, or instead of F sharp, a G flat. The F natural would have stayed the same, of course, because it's a white key. But remember, F sharp is also the same thing as a G flat if we're going down, right? A sharp, which honestly, more common music, you're going to see the pitch written as B flat, the lower version of B, more commonly than seeing an A sharp. And there's a bit of a deep reasoning for why that is, which we might get down to down the road. But for now, just try to think about the fact that every one of these black keys could have been a sharp or a flat. We wrote them as sharps, but you also want to consider what the flats would have been. Of course, G flat, B flat, D flat. This high pitch, this D sharp, the highest pitch in the song, could have, instead of being a D sharp, could have been a E flat. So just try to keep that in mind to make sure we understand these sharps and flats. So now that we've talked about all of the white keys in our musical alphabet, and now we've talked about all of the black keys that fit in between, we now know all the 12 tones of music. Now, these 12 tones are something that we call the chromatic scale. Now, chromatic means we're just going to move in the smallest possible steps all the way up the music. So, for example, in music, most of the time we start on C, right? So we have our musical alphabet from C back to C. We have C, D, E, F, G, go back to A, B. Now we're back at C again, right? Just a higher C. The chromatic scale would be C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, and then we're back at C. That's the full thing. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different keys, or tones, I should say, before we repeat the same one we started on. All right, so that's what the chromatic scale is. So let's go over and try doing a little bit of a play along here. I'll try on a different instrument, and you guys try it on this. If you have your virtual piano, cool. If you have a real piano, even cooler. So for if any of you are interested in ever learning to play the guitar or some sort of a stringed instrument like this, we don't have black keys and white keys on this instrument. Instead, we have, unless you play violin, which doesn't even have this, you have to kind of figure it out. We have what we call frets on the guitar, which are these little silver lines that go across. Now, this is an electric bass guitar, but a guitar, same idea. We don't know exactly the white keys from the black keys or the sharps and the flats from your natural pitches. Everything from one fret to the next just goes up to the next highest sound in half steps. So it can go from G to the first fret would be G sharp to A sharp to B, and so on, going right on up the keyboard. Or in this case, going up the fretboard, since we don't have keys, we have frets. So if you ever want to learn to play guitar or bass, that's how you can figure out what pitch you're on. Once you know one, use your musical alphabet and go back and forth, and you find all the rest of the notes. So now that we're taking a look at this song over here on the keyboard, I'm going to go ahead and play it and see if you can open up your tab on a virtual piano, or if you have a real keyboard, even better, and try to play this Old Lang Syne song with me. I'll try to go nice and slow and see if you guys can keep up. You guys can always go back to video 2 and just scroll it back up to around 5 minutes and 19 seconds, and you'll see the whole song written out for you. Feel free to leave that up on your screen and have the video that you're listening to now play in the background so you can play along with me and see the music all at once. All right, I'll count 1, 2, 3, and then you're in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Now, of course, I highly encourage you guys to keep going with it. Trust your ear. If you're having a hard time reading the music, it's totally normal. Just really trust your ear and try to sound it out as you go. You'll find that you can really make some good things happen if you just trust your ear. You know the notes of the song. We really just have the 5 black keys and occasionally that F natural white key. So just sound it out and see if you can figure out the rest of the song, because this is really only half of it. If you want to try sounding it out, you can play along with me here. Now, of course, this is only like half the song. We've only written out a chunk of it here. If you've heard the whole thing, you guys know that this goes a little bit longer. So if you know how it goes and you're familiar with the tune, why don't we try sounding it out here? Use your ear. It's the same keys, just a few more of them. Try to sound it out here. I'll play it along. Try to keep with me. If you're not sure what it sounds like, listen to me first and just bring the video back. Try to have some fun with it. See how far we can get. And 1, 2, 3. Trust that ear. Sound it out. Have fun with it, guys. Most important thing, have fun with it.
If you've ever been confused of what the heck this song even means, Auld Lang Syne, it actually comes from an old Scottish poem that if you were to translate it, it basically says old long since, or as we would say in modern days, times gone by, which kind of makes sense why we would play the song around New Year's Eve, Times past of the year and new times coming.
Well, I hope you guys learned something this week. So now we should be able to know all the 12 tones of music. We now know what the chromatic scale is. We've learned all of our sharps, all of our flats, and we know how to find our way around the keyboard. And if we see a sharp or we see a flat, now we can play it. So hopefully you guys learned something from this, and we'll go make good use of this in the upcoming weeks here. All right. Take it easy, everybody. Peace.